Thank you. Yeah, good morning. We're here not to talk about governance and all this stuff. We talk about tooling. And we want to give you a tool that we call Codfsh, and we use it for our profiling stuff. And I start with some slides here. Need the focus.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Who are we? We're Hendrik and Robert. We are from Gematik. That's the National Digital Health Agency from Germany. And we are both architects and kind of software developers, or developers, not software in general. And we work on several projects for Germany on the ePrescription mainly at the moment. We did work on the electronic patient record, health record, and do also transport project on transporting data from the hospital to doctors to pharmacies to the insurance companies, piggyback FHIR data on our KIM service, transportation messages, and yeah, to also standardize our pipelines and do all this technical stuff. And why we're here is we want to talk about programming, because for us as a National Digital Health Agency, programming does not mean creating software. It's about creating profiles that developers, software developers like you, need and implement in your code. And what you especially need is good quality assured, good examples of patients, of observations, organizations, encounters, whatever. And so we had to build up a environment where we program the FHIR profiles and also create lots of samples. And that's the demand that's brought to us. We need lots of examples, positive examples, negative examples, though valid FHIR examples, but also wrong FHIR examples that are valid but invalid in the kind of business that like ePrescriptions that are not valid or not allowed to hand out to patients. And we started with Forge profiling the stuff, and that was not reproducible when several people worked on the same FHIR profiles. So we switched to FHIR shorthand and then had to build up a development environment. We chosen Visual Studio Code, and behind that, we had lots of GitHub repositories and started using GitHub actions and pipelines to automate our implementation guides, profiles, compiling into FHIR profiles that we published on Simplifier. And to do the validation stuff, Robert introduced a validation script that helped a lot to validate the FHIR profiles and the implementation guides, the examples on the FHIR profiles, and in the end, that was cool, but not enough. Still was something missing. And this is where we introduce now our Codfsh that will Robert show you live in a demo.
Thank you. So check here. I think you have, okay. So what is this? It's a Visual Studio Code extension, and I will just want to show you how it works. So you find it on the marketplace. It's called Codfsh, as you can see. Also, sorry. Oh, I'm still. Thanks for this. Okay. Yeah, now see it. So it's on the marketplace, and you can just look for Codfsh, and it has some requirements. It's all described here in the README file. So we highly recommend that you have .NET SDK and FHIR Family installed, as well as Sushi shorthand and the HAPI validator. So what this extension does is it wraps Sushi, and the HAPI validator runs it on a single click, then gets the output, parses it, and puts it into the problems tab in Visual Studio. And how this looks, I will now just show you. And this is like an active project we are working on about service requests and stuff. And I know here are some errors. And what I can do is I can now start like first run Sushi and get the output from Sushi. All I have to do is like be in a fish file or in the resource file that was generated. And then I just put F5 to it. Okay. And now Sushi is running on the resource folder. It understands all the folder structure and knows where the sushi.config file should be, or even if it's somewhere else, it finds it. And then it, okay, it runs it. So you have an output tab here. Actually, you already got 3. So this is what you would normally see in your console. You see all these output from Sushi. And here's the thing, you also have these now in the problems section, and you could easily navigate to the line in your code where this comes from. So this was like the Sushi run. And the next thing is what we do. We also want to have direct validation when we build our structure definitions and all this stuff. So the idea is like we've run the HAPI validator locally right now to get this output also from the HAPI validator. To do this, you could go to a generated resource file, or you just also in the Sushi file, in the fish file, you hit F8, and then first Sushi is run again. So this is optional. And then the HAPI validator is run, and we get the same from the HAPI validator. Now there's like a you can see here in the output, HAPI validator is called locally, and we give it all the resources that are in the generated resources tab. And then in the background, HAPI was run already, and we have some problems, additional problems that we should take care of now and tackle them. And with this, I forgot to mention, there's also another functionality. If you don't have all the necessary dependencies already installed in your local.fhir folder, you get a pop-up. I can just delete one maybe and show this to you for this project, probably. Yeah, right. This is like in your .fhir folder. Let me show you where we are. You probably know this. If you install something with FHIR terminal, you get it in your local folder. And if there's something missing, I just can delete everything maybe, because I don't know what are the dependencies right now for this. Move to bin. And now we start the process again. And it will, what is going in the background? It looks in the sushi.config YAML, hey, what are the dependencies for the server? And here we get it, hey, there's something missing. Do you want to install it? And then I can just put install on what's running in the background. It just starts a new process in the background, which says, please install this package with this version. So I also can ramp up other developers or something very easily with this tool, that they can start to work on this. Of course, I deleted a lot. I have to. So this main thing is very early progress. So it's just an idea to improve our work and to ramp up our other developers in our company, or in our company. And maybe this is helpful to the community, to you, give it back. We will show also the open source GitHub repository. Just put an issue if you have a problem, put an idea there, or even do a pull request if you want to. We will keep developing this further as for our needs, but of course we can adjust easily if you see something which is like not suitable for you, but it's fine for me. I will switch again to the presentation. And I think here we continue, right?
Yes. This is an overview, context, reach out if you like. Yes, we have the, where's something or whatever. This is the repository where we keep the sources of the extension. We have also lots of information in a technical blog from the Gematik, where we talk about our open source program office, all this stuff here, and the extension is under Apache v2. And this is the download link to the extension directly when you download it into Visual Code. Yes. In the end, we want to show you the result of a poll we put into Woowa. And we wanted to know what's your preferred validator, because we want to improve the extension and maybe we add support for additional validators. For Germany, there's a recommendation, not a requirement. It's a recommendation to use the HAPI validator as a reference. It's not meant that it cannot be done set to mandatory because of regulations. And as you can see, there are many typos and typings of the HAPI validator. And people also use the .NET validator on Simplifier, on the .NET SDK, whatever. And I once again want to point out that we as a programmer program profiles and create instances, and you as programmer program code software dependent on our profile. So we need to be good that you can do good. Okay, that's for today. We are happy to have questions, and we missed the QR code on the feedback, but the best feedback is an issue on GitHub, if you like. Thanks.
You mentioned generation of samples, both positive and negative examples. Can you elaborate a little more about that?
Yes, especially for the ePrescription project, we needed positive samples and got positive samples from people who know how to create prescription samples. I'm not a doctor, I'm an architect, IT architect. And to harden the validator in the backend, we needed also lots of negative samples, which I always called the 12 delights, but there were hundreds of them. And this is, we had to create it manually. So I took few valid prescriptions and then switched tiny details on codings, on inserted typos, and also XML errors and parser errors, changed the semantics, and invalidated valid examples by having them still valid. Like we have in the backend additional quality rules, and I forced them to be broken. And we also discovered a few issues in the HAPI validator that maybe you know some of them, I don't know. I can't remember. There were 2, 3, whatever.
They're fixed by now.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Is it answered, or
How do you generate them?
I did that copy and paste. This was before we had the pipeline. This is 2.5 years, 1.5 years ago when I had to do this.
As you already mentioned, there are several validators.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of supporting several or just the one?
Yeah, we had this talk from Vladim. He showed us the validators, and we already talked about this. Like, for example, .NET validator should be a very good option, I think. And yes, it's definitely an option, but I can't promise you right now. But I'm thinking about it, right? And there also was this idea that the HAPI validator right now is like run and as an instance. So each time we hit F8, it runs again. But there are better solutions to have it in the background and just pass the requests, and this is also something I think about to bring it.
Absolutely.
I got another question. Currently, Simplifier and Forge support quality assurance rules. Are you planning on using those as well, or something similar?
I talked to the FHIR guys. I'm still figuring how we can do this, because what we do here is we program locally, and sometimes you have to debug into your code, and we have to debug into the profiling. So we missed some semantics or whatever in an instance. And before we commit and push to GitHub and have the GitHub actions and then synchronize to Simplifier, I'd rather fix it locally before pushing.
Yeah. Okay. So terminal, FHIR terminal also supports the QA rules that they think. And knowing myself, I write down naming conventions, but I don't stick to them. So it would be nice if I had some rules to check that.
Excellent feature request. It's a hassle for me as well.
First, I would say brilliant, because we've been doing FHIR only for very little time, and this was the first thing I ran against. Okay, we have to make profiles, and the tool chain is very long and very complicated, and the feedback cycle is very short. This is brilliant. I was building something with spit and duct tape, but this is very slick. And I hope in the end we come to a point that we have hot reload and just saving will run the pipeline. So thank you very much for this, and I'm going to be checking it out, and probably if I can help if it's on GitHub. And secondly, how long is it on the marketplace?
It's only for 1 week. So last weekend I did it before.
That's why I didn't find it.
Yeah, but it was like tested locally. Right?
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
One more thing. We had another poll in Wuva, and I made fun out of the app, and there's only one, this tech cloud, whatever. The other polls, I put emojis into the answers. So I apologize. We could not choose the answers I used an emoji for. So that's kind of a bug in Wuva, and that's the only poll that produces correct answers. Sorry for that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All right, I think we got time for one more question. And did I see a hand?
Yeah, thanks a lot for that great work. Do you plan also to integrate the IG publisher? Now you have the validator, and the IG publisher makes kind of like you feed all things to the validator. You could also call the IG publisher over your resource folder. Or otherwise, we will hopefully able to provide a pull request later on.
I hope so, Oliver. Yeah, we already talked. Let's continue.
All righty. One more time for Robert and Hendrik. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.